Hey guys, it's John Moore with the Texas College Football Show, and it is here, guys. It is week 0, and week 0 is the week before the official first week of football, but there are football games this week, and with me right now is Collin Neill from Sam Houston Sports Talk. Everybody remember Collin? He did the preview with me for the Sam Houston State University, because Sam Houston State is the only team of the Texas college football teams, Texas FBF schools that we're covering, that has a game this week, and they're going to be up in Western Kentucky. Collin, what's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing much, John. I'm excited. Football is looming. Week 0 always, for some reason, has this weird kind of reputation, but week 0 is week 0. It has college football. I'm excited. I know you're excited as well. A lot of people are excited, especially amongst the Sam Houston entourage. They're all very anxious, John, to see what this team can do up in Bowling Green to begin the season. Obviously, a very big Conference USA game to begin things in 2025.
Yeah, and let's talk about that game. So they're going to be at Western Kentucky. I'm going to go ahead and show my schedule and what I predicted going into this. I do have this one as a loss, but we're going to get into Western Kentucky here in a second. And for those that don't know, what is it? The game's at 7 o'clock on I thought I had a slide for that actually, but it's at 7 o'clock and it's on CBS Sports Network is what it's on.
Yep.
Saturday, this Saturday, the 23rd. Is it at 7 or 6?
6 o'clock Central time.
6 o'clock
Eastern. Yes, 6 o'clock Central.
6 o'clock Central. So it's 6 o'clock Central. CBS Sports Network is where it's going to be at. I'm going to be trying to watch it. I'm moving my son in. So I technically had this as a loss. We're going to get into the prediction a little bit later. You tell me, though, what are you hearing right now? You're there, you're local, you're covering the team. Is Hunter Watson the starter? Or, I know there was some talk about the transfer coming in. What are you hearing so far?
So I've only been able to go out to practice a couple of times. I live down in Friendswood, south of Houston, so Huntsville's a bit of a drive for me to go up there every day. And I also have work responsibilities, adulting, as they say these days. So, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, Longo actually had his press conference today. He did not name a starter. He's keeping it tight-chested, the cards close to his chest. Watson's looked good. I've heard good things about Maber Matoyer. Longo also mentioned another quarterback who was going to go to Wisconsin with Longo, but then decommitted and transferred to Sam. Well, not really transferred, but decommitted, and he's a true freshman. Landon Locke, the kid from Rockwall, Texas. But as far as I know, it's between Maber Matoyer and Hunter Watson. And he will name a starting QB Friday night. I'm sure it'll be just on the 2D depth chart. But otherwise, the defensive line was a big question. We talked about it a little bit, but apparently there's been some confidence brewing in that room. Some guys have been consistent. Some guys have gotten better. And again, over 30 players came to this team after spring ball. That's almost a third of your team that has not played spring ball, and they're also adjusting. There's still a lot to learn about this team. Outside of the typical stuff, like everyone's, the cliches, the iron sharpening iron, the getting 1% better each day. There's confidence, and I will tell you this though, John, Coach Longo really wants to win this game against Western Kentucky.
Well, and we're going to get into it in just a second, because there is definitely some. Let me find this real quick, because I'm sorry, guys. I had a slide and I guess I didn't put it up there, but this we're going to get into the games that are coming up right here. Let me find it. This is going to be Saturday the 23rd, because actually Western Kentucky is favored by 10, I believe, in this game.
They were by 10 points. The over-under is at 16.5 last time I checked, too. So
yeah, that's where it was. I'm sorry. I can't believe I had that thing up here a while ago.
It's the beginning of the season for all of us, is what I like to say.
We're all getting it together and doing a preview each week. I want to do a game of the week each week. And since this is the only school playing, and it's obviously a big one. Now, later in the year, some of those games are going to be when the two Texas schools that are in the same conference are going to be facing each other. We may have to do a couple because it may overlap Conference USA and American Conference. There might be two that week I do because there's some big games with Texas schools facing each other. Let's take a look at who Sam Houston's playing. They are going to be playing Western Kentucky, and let's just go ahead and break them down real quick in their 2025 projections. Athlon Sports has them in second in Conference USA behind Liberty. They're picking them to finish second behind Liberty. Lindy Sports has them to finish third behind Liberty and number 2, Sam Houston. And then ESPN has them finishing second in Conference USA behind Liberty also. So this is a school that has got they are picked to be one of the favorites. But, hey, Lindy Sports has Sam Houston up there in the number 2 spot. Everyone seems to think Liberty is the projected favorite to come out of the Conference USA. But this is a big one, and it's a conference game to start the season.
Yes, I mean, it's going to be having some eyes, especially for those that follow the group of 6 or 5, whatever it's called these days, very closely. This has major implications. I mean, if you really think about it, the first 2 games of Sam Houston season really have implications overall CFP wise for the group of 5, especially since they face UNLV the next week. But Western Kentucky has always been a very consistently good team. The Hilltoppers, they got Big Red up there. They love their football in Bowling Green. I went up to Bowling Green in 2023 when Sam Houston faced them up there, and it was a close game up there, and it could be a close game here. It's just Coach Tyson Helton. He's a really good coach. There were some fears that maybe he was going to be leaving for a power jobs elsewhere, but decides to stay. He has to, replace some production, not as much as Sam Houston, but still as much as Sam Houston. I mean, the outlets, to say the least, are not wrong to be pretty high on Western Kentucky.
Yep, absolutely. And if you want to know why, let's look at what they did last year. They did finish 8-4 last year. And hey, they went down to Sam Houston and came to Texas last year and beat Sam Houston 34-14. They lost the Conference USA Championship to Jacksonville State 52-12 and lost the Boca Raton Ball to James Madison. I think that score is covered there by you and me, but I think it was 34-17, something like that. So they've got a lot of things changing on there. They've got a new quarterback coming in. We're going to talk about him in just a second when we talk about players to watch. But I was reading some notes on them. Their top 4 pass catchers are gone, but Katie Hutchinson's back after averaging about 15 yards catch last year. The offensive line struggled in pass protection and didn't, last year, and they got new starters from the transfer portal. Devin Smith coming over from ULM should be okay. Lavelle Wright from Austin Peay, which we know the former Austin Peay coach is what's his name over at UTEP. So, but they've got a lot of changes, and if you look at what they've done in the portal, offensively and defensively, they brought in a lot. But I think the biggest name that you're going to hear on this is they've made a change at quarterback, and it's a Texas kid. For those that don't know, his name is Maverick McIver. He's from San Angelo, Texas. This guy's coming from a G5 school. Played at Abilene Christian University. We're in 3 seasons. Look at those numbers: 8,012 yards and 63 TDs. Don't know if he had any other D1 jobs, but this is the new guy under center up there. So what do you know about them or anybody else up there?
Well, first of all, Maverick McIver, like what I mentioned, like I've said many times, the most 80s name ever.
Yes.
It's a name, I'll give you that. I mean, Maverick, like that guy's a quarterback. But but overall, I've heard many things about him at Abilene Christian. If there's a game though, if you want to really get if you want to get the landscape of what kind of quarterback this guy is, just go watch the overtime loss that Abilene Christian had against Texas Tech up in Lubbock to open the 2020-24 season. I mean, 509 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, this is a guy going in there into a pretty hostile environment in Texas Tech. The tortillas, everyone knows about those. I mean, the fact that he even did that, I mean, there's no surprise. There's no secret as to why Helton probably so badly wanted to get McIver up to Western Kentucky. And along with McIver, he also brings his signal caller, McIver signal caller, and the head coach up to Western Kentucky to be his OC. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
familiarity there. It's obvious what Western Kentucky is pulling for, and that MacGyver is obviously going to be the QB1. Again, though, you mentioned they lost a couple of receivers, but MacGyver is a guy that is a game changer. He's a guy that if you give him way too much time, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, and the fact he's a Texas kid just proves to you, even at the G5 level, there are some talented kids. He's from San Angelo, and what he did there, coming up to Western Kentucky, it's some of these kids fall through the cracks, and why they're not they don't go to bigger schools coming out. But this kid has turned into something. He's a graduate transfer too, so this is not somebody that left in a huff or anything like that. He graduated college. Went and wanted to play one more year, and Western Kentucky came after him. That's going to be fun to watch. Now, let's talk about players to watch on the Sam Houston side. On the offensive side of the ball, I guess first thing we're looking at, we got to find out who our starting quarterback is. Who's going to be a difference maker here, and what players we want to watch this game?
So to not name a quarterback, man, I will say on the outside, you got to be looking at Michael Phoenix the second. He's a guy that did not get a lot of playing time at first, but then as the year went on last year, he started getting more reps, more snaps, and he showed how much of a threat he can be as a potential X. I mean, you have Quavis Humphreys as well, but I think Michael Phoenix the second is going to be a guy that's going to be getting a lot of balls thrown his way. Another receiver, Caleb Black, or any slot receiver as well, because Longo wants to play at least 4 or 5 receivers a game or even more. Like just giving whoever the quarterback is in that backfield a lot of options. And then you go into the backfield. I'm looking at Elijah Green, Indiana transfer experience, has experience under Longo's offense when he was at UNC. He's looking to prove himself. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder because he's not had a lot of playing time, and he has that CFP experience with the Hoosiers up there with Kurt Signetti. And if I want to name somebody on the interior offensive line, it'll be Colt Diederich, our starting left tackle. He's going to be taking a step up this year, I believe. He improved quite a lot last year. He's going to be responsible for protecting the blind side of, again, whoever the quarterback is, whether it be Watson or Matoyer.
Yeah, and Dietrich, I'm not going to say whether he is or not, but the All Texas College preseason football team is coming out. It's probably dropping today and tomorrow. And let's just say that's a name that look, I've teased this, and let me tell you what it is. I'm a guy that covers Major League Baseball, and I decided with 13 Texas college FBS teams, I'm going to do a preseason first and second team offense, first and second team defense. But Major League Baseball All-Star rules, every team has to have somebody make first or second team. And because, look, in all honesty, you can go around and look at you could probably fill a first and second team from about 7 or 8 schools in Texas, starting a little bit higher up that echelon. But let's be honest, every player that I have picked to do this, and there will be one from Sam Houston on offense and defense, these are guys that have a great chance to be all-conference players. I did my homework on them, and I know that name. So when you're talking about offensive line, I know that name. I did my homework on it, and I can't wait to watch this guy this year. He's a big boy, too, coming into there. Now, on defense, what do we need on defense? Who's the guys we need to watch?
So let's start with the line. We'll give you an edge guy and an interior guy. First off, Texas Southern transfer Keelan Cox. I mean, he's listed as 6'4", 295, but when I first saw him in person, I'm like, there's no way this guy's 295, right? And you take a closer look, and it's just muscle. And hey, this is a guy that walked on at Alabama, first of all, to begin his college career. I mean, you walk on at Alabama, it tells me right there that your work ethic is unbelievable. It's incredibly hard to walk on at a school like Bama. And then he went to Wyoming, then he went down to Texas Southern, became one of the best edge rushers in the FCS, and now he's up 45, now going to be playing for Sam Houston. And ironically speaking, won't be playing in unfamiliar territory, to say the least, for the home games, because Texas Southern plays their home games at Shell Energy. So he'll be back in that arena once again, even though for a different team. On the interior, there's a couple of guys maybe you can think of, but I'm going to go with Zaquai Lawton, West Virginia transfer. He medically retired, just could not stay healthy in college. But Sam Houston, I still don't know the full story. We were supposed to interview him at the practice a couple weeks ago, but we weren't able to ask him what made him come to Huntsville and to retire. But he decided to come back and he's expected to make an immediate impact. And at the linebacker room, I'll choose one guy, and that will be Antavius Fish, a MAC transfer from Akron. I talked to a couple of people that cover the MAC extensively, and he's a guy that they've been saying, like, look, just watch the film. Tackle technique is really good. And then just moving all along really quick, going to the DBs, a corner guy to watch, I think will be Joe Swin, a Oregon State transfer, lanky guy, a long wingspan, basically daring QBs to underthrow receivers whenever they're trying to cover him. He was a projected starter for, according to Dan Campbell's Texas Football in the spring, and things might have changed, but he's a guy that I've always been quite interested in. And then going to the DB side of things, I'm looking at another MAC transfer in CJ Brown from Bowling Green, just decorated two-time All MAC player. I mean, got to interview him as well. It's on Sam Houston Sports Talk for those that are curious. He's a veteran. He's been through it all, and I'm glad that the Bearcats picked him up, especially with, again, I've mentioned it before, not a lot of time to really work with the portal. They got a late start on it, but for the guys they brought in, especially on defense, when you're only returning 3 guys that were on the 2 deep depth chart at the bowl game, I'd say they did a pretty darn good job bringing those kind of guys in.
Okay, so here's what we got to do. Let's be honest, and let me be clear, guys, and I try to make this clear, and Collin knows this because I've said it. My prediction, I am predicting that West Virginia is going to win this game. We're going to go over some stuff on that in just a minute. I want to be wrong. Believe me when I say I want to be wrong. I want all Texas schools to go undefeated till they play each other, and that be their only losses. That's my hope. I want to see Conference USA championship with Sam Houston State in it. But to win, to do that, they're going to have an upset. And I want to know what is the keys to win this game for the offense and for the defense. If Sam Houston's to pull off this upset, you tell me, Collin, what are they going to have to do? What on offense is going to have to be the key for this team to win this game?
I'm going to go with an old phrase, shock and awe. Start fast, start quick, find momentum. Even though Western Kentucky may know kind of what they're doing, they may not know the extent of it. They might try to predict a little too much. But if you're on the offensive side of things for Sam Houston, you have to start fast like they did against Rice last season when they jumped out to a 14-0 lead in like literally 30 seconds of game time. And ever since that game, it's like been pretty established. Like, hey, this is a Sam Houston team that's going to be pretty good in 2024. And guess what? They were good. You start out strong. You put your foot down, take the crowd out of it in Bowling Green. And if you're looking on the defensive side of things, it's just, I guess it's just trust the game plan and don't get too far out of your way. This is a defense that's probably still trying to figure out a few things. They're going to be rotating a lot on the defensive line as well. So I think the key is there is to just trust the process. It's going to have its hiccups. It's going to have its road bumps. You're going up against a good quarterback. If you stick to the game plan early, communicate, talk to one another, I think they're going to give up points, but they're not going to give up that many points. And heck, if they can turn the ball over, cause a turnover or two, that can really turn the tide of the game as well. But it all starts with trusting the process and talking. And again, a lot of these guys are new and have hardly played with each other before.
Okay, so I'm going to have 2 predictions on here, and then I'm going to get your prediction afterward. The first one is just going to, before I do an actual score, let me just kind of update where it is. I think right now, this is a new look. I like this better. So we don't cover up anything. The Texas College Football Show prediction, I do think Western Kentucky wins. We've already talked about this. I think Sam Houston's going to cover. I think 10 points is a little too much. I've got faith in this, and I hope I'm right. And if they cover, they cover because they outright win this game. And I do predict an under on 60.5. I think every team starting out first of the year runs into their own little bit of, you got a brand new quarterback at Western Kentucky. If this defense gets on any type of roll, maybe some turnovers, there's some mistakes made, something like that. Obviously, then I think it's going to be under the 60.5 that right now the betting lines have. Where do you see? I mean, okay, first of all, what do you predict? Are you predicting a win here for Sam Houston?
I feel like there's a little too biased there, John. I try to be as objective as I possibly can. I mean, again, I graduated from Sam. I went to a lot
Sure.
of games at Sam. I worked at the athletics department. I try to
Okay.
be as objective as possible. While I do think Sam covers, Western Kentucky has a little bit more returning, has the experience, and one thing about Western Kentucky is that it's really hard to play up there in Bowling Green. It's gonna be a Saturday night crowd. Everyone first week at college. I don't know when exactly WKU starts their
Yeah, I'm
college, but
moving my son in Friday, so they're
oh, there
all
you go.
going in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be his first thing to do to get their mind off of the first week of school. Western Kentucky has the advantage here. I think Sam Houston can win. That's the fan part of me, but the objective person that's covering, I'd give WKU a slight edge. I agree with you that 10-point spread is a little too big.
What about the over under? Do you think it's is it a shootout, or do you think that some of these defenses or the offenses will just have their mistakes that they're going to have the first week?
So I think it's going to go over actually 60 and a
Okay.
half. I think it's going to be in a shootout, but I think there's going to be a couple of defensive touchdowns. Now, I don't know which way it's going to go.
Sure. Yeah.
But if again, it's just hard. I think it's just going to depend on who makes the least amount of mistakes in this game. I mean, that's a very cliche thing to say, but it's the
Yeah.
first game of the year. There's going to be a lot of nervousness in the air. I want Sam Houston to win. I just don't know. Still don't know quite a lot to really tell me yes they can win. We don't know much about what they're going to roll out there. Longo is who the starting quarterback is. So that uncertainty kind of keeps me closed off and kind of a little bit in a way not wanting to pick them to win.
Okay.
At the end of the day, this offense that Longo brings. The system is high flying. There's a lot of there's tempo. There's passing. He's going to run the football too if he has to. He's not just going to throw it 70, 80 times a game like Mike Leach in the good old days.
Right.
At the end of the day, you could honestly with any of this, you cannot go wrong with either Western Kentucky or Sam Houston. For me personally, I just have a lot of respect for that WKU program that Helton has built up there.
Okay. And that's fair. Hey, listen, I am a diehard. Look, I've made no qualms about this. I want to be wrong.
Me too.
I know you want to be wrong, but I am not a Sam Houston guy. I want Sam Houston to win this game. I would love to have egg on my face for every one of these games that I pick objectively that I think a Texas school is going to lose. I'm going to be rooting for Sam Houston. I'll be wearing my orange Bearcat, whatever I need. I mean, I'm going to be flying the colors, and I don't know what I want Sam Houston to go up to Western Kentucky and kick some butt. I do have a score prediction. I want to get it in here real quick. I have this game, like I said, in the under. Western Kentucky 31, Sam Houston 24. You're going over on this, you said. So where do you kind of see this falling?
I actually really like that point differential. I think it's going to be something like that, if not a little less. Yeah, I mean, I think John. Honestly, I think you're pretty spot on with the difference. And it's funny. The thing is, we can make all the predictions we want. We can look. I can look at this prediction and say, "Wow, that looks really good," and then something completely different happens. That's just
Yeah.
kind of that's honestly though the joy and the excitement that is college football, and
Exactly.
it looms, John. We're so close, and and like I said before, Bearcat fans are anxious and excited to see what this team can possibly do in the first game. And there's WKU fans as well that I've seen on social media that are also anxious to see this because you know at the end of the day, Western Kentucky is kind of operating at a disadvantage because they don't know exactly what Longo is going to roll out with.
Right. Exactly. Well, listen, this has been great. This is a preview for this week. Listen, me and Collin are hoping that we are completely wrong. We want to see this thing be a complete upset. I want the Sam Houston Bearcats to get up there and kick some hilltop or you know what is what we want to see. We're going to do one of these every week, guys. Next week, look, I know that everybody can look at this and say next week you got to be doing Texas and Ohio State. That's got to be the biggest game. It's not. You know why? Because two Texas schools are going to play each other. So I've decided, yeah, everyone's going to be talking about Texas and Ohio State, and they're going to all be trying to predict that. I'm going to go with Texas A&M and UTSA, two schools that are in my FBS. I'm going to have two guys from both those, one from each of those schools, going to join me. We're going to break that down and see what UTSA would have to do to make it. That would have to be an upset in that case, because obviously Texas A&M is picked by a lot to win that game. But in this one right here, guys, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to pull it up, 6 o'clock Saturday night, this Saturday night, the 23rd, 6 o'clock. CBS Sports Network. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are hosting the Sam Houston State Bearkats, who are going in there and looking for the upset. Collin, I appreciate it so much for coming on here. Anything else before I get you out of here?
John, just appreciate you giving me an opportunity to spread more awareness about Sam Houston as well. It's a school that, of course, everyone knows. I graduated. I worked for the athletics department. I saw football's first season in FBS in it firsthand, and I just say it's grown quite a lot. The fan base has sort of grown online, especially. I don't know if you've seen all the burner accounts. You probably gotten a visit from some of them, but I gotta say it's Sam people keep saying that Sam Houston should have stayed in the FCS, and I completely just disagree. I'm glad that Sam Houston has made this move. They're making changes. They're getting a whole new press box and some other upgrades to Bauer Stadium and across athletics. It's still a long way to go, but at the end of the day, I'm really excited to see Sam Houston start their third year in FBS, especially beginning it in such a high stakes game against Western Kentucky on the road.
Absolutely. Well, Collin, thanks for doing this. Guys, we're going to wind this one down and go till next week. And hey, by the way, next week, the first top 13 countdown is coming down. I'm not going to do it. And look, I picked Sam Houston to lose this game, so it would not change where they were going to be in my initial, because I assumed they were going to come into this 0-1. Hope I'm wrong. I've already got that thing in the can. I'll keep them where they're at, but they'll be on the rise pretty soon if they can beat this Western Kentucky and then take out UNLV, right? Then we want to get UNLV and start out 2-0. That's what we want. Guys, it's been fun. Collin, thank you so much, bud. We're going to get it out of here. Until next time, guys, we will see you on the gridiron.